Welcome to Toffee TV. There's the final word. Everton 1, Leeds United 0. Another home win for Everton. Mate, that sound like we win every... Well, we have won every home game since Sean Dyche took over, to be fair. So, there you go, joined by Mike and John in the studio. And another clean sheet as well. And 6 points out of 9, Mike. Good start for your man, Mr. Dyche.
Yeah, good start. Good solid start. Pragmatic start, which is what I think we all expected.
Is the word.
You know, he's made us work a little bit harder. Bit tighter in at the back, which you need when you've got a team that don't score many goals. Obviously, the blip so far in 3 games, it was a big blip, was that performance away at Anfield. Not just the result, the performance, which was diabolical. But look, he's got them back on track, and you know we haven't beat a team in and around us for a while, have we? So it was a big game. I know we tried to sort of talk it down a little bit in your head to sort of not put that pressure on, but it was massive. We needed to win that game. Because I think we've got another home game and a couple are away on the bounce, haven't we? So, and away from home at the minute, we still look a bit off the pace. So, yeah, big game. Got the points on the board, but you know, is it pretty? Is it enjoyable? Not necessarily, but that wasn't really the case under the previous manager either, was it? Yeah, it's exciting getting 3 points.
I mean, it was a big result, John, obviously, because of every other result, really. I know Sunday's results were favoured Everton, but the Saturdays, all the teams that, when you'd look beforehand and went, well, they might lose there and they might lose there, and they all won. So, Everton, you know, we needed the win, didn't we?
We did, and it was a bit like the Arsenal. You never got full value from that win, did you, because of the way the other results went. But this weekend was even worse. It was thank God we did win. I know we gained a little bit, but and sticking up on the scoreboard seems to have split opinions.
I was fuming at the time, and I'm glad other people have done this, because I honestly don't see what
the value is,
what people's thinking is who decide to put that up, unless it means it's affecting you positively. Why on earth they didn't put, or I didn't see them at half time? They might have, I didn't see it at half time. At half time, fair enough, he put them up.
Don't think they put them up at half time, did they?
I don't think they did.
Went for the piss.
No, I don't think they did.
Right. I don't think they put them up at half time. I may be wrong, right?
Ditto,
but at half time, I can understand that half time. There's the scores, get on with it. Why pop them up in the second half of a game when they're all going against you? If they're all going for you, you can generate that energy in the stadium. Then they took it down and thought, like, don't put that up again. Then they put it back up, and it was because bloody Forest had equalised.
Which is,
like, what are you... Who are these people? Are they fucking copites?
Players are on the pitch going, well, at least Forest are losing. Well, we'll sort that out.
Is it the bloody, you know, was it the board who had a little button?
They sat at home.
Let's annoy everyone. You know, who is it? Who's making these decisions? To a lot of people, that'll sound petty, or people might go, doesn't matter. But I think it does. I think in the situation we're in at the moment, we need every little bit of positivity that we can go. Because ultimately, everyone who walks into that stadium, whether you are, the people who work there then, like, let's forget the fans are there, we want to win. Everyone who's working there, whether you support Liverpool or not, we know there's a lot of people who work at Everton who are Reds. If you're in charge of that kind of stuff, should want Everton to win anyway, because it's your job, and it's protecting your job, and protecting people losing their job. If Everton go down, quite a big percentage of that workforce are gone, end of. So you should all want the same common thing on a match day when you go to work. And whoever's making these decisions, that should be a basic, shouldn't it? Should that not be a basic? If the scores are all going against us in the situation we're in at the moment, don't put them on the scoreboard. Just leave it. Put them on at the end. Nothing you can do. It's not your fault.
It's happened.
Half term. And half term. And I'll wish it was. Half time or full time. Fair enough. They're just the results. There's the facts. Don't engineer things against us, because that's how it's seen, and I've seen a lot of people not happy with it as well, so I'm glad it wasn't just me being petty.
No, that's right. I mean, I can't get uptight about it, but I can, agree with you. Why put it up at all? I don't get it. It's factual, isn't it? It's for news purposes, but we're not interested in news purposes. We're interested in these guys in blue shirts performing to the best.
If it's going your way,
and if you think if you think something's happening that will benefit you,
by all
like
means.
They're all losing.
Yeah, exactly.
So chill out a bit, lads.
It's all going your way, and why put it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because my first reaction when I see it is, we've got to win. I know we had to win anyway, but you start,
makes your edgy,
it
then.
puts a
It does
bit
put
more
that,
edge
doesn't it?
into it, that if we don't win, then all this lot are going to get a little bit further away. If they're away from us, and if they're behind us, they're going to look a little bit closer. So.
Yeah, it was a bit mad. The games, I mean, obviously Ellis Sims was taken out the team, Neil Maupay was put in the team. The game started, I thought Everton, for the first 5 minutes or so, I thought we started really edgily. We give the ball away.
We did, yeah.
Garner gave a terrible ball, I mean, we didn't do anything with it, luckily, but it was a stupid ball back. And then he had that header that looked like a 3-year-old heading the football on the edge of our box, and it went up in the air. I don't know what he was doing. It like closed his eyes, and it went behind.
It
Just did it, didn't he? But we did look, but then we did settle down, and once we settled
Those
down,
little mistakes by Garner allow a big chunk of our fan base to go, he's shit.
even though he was, again,
You know,
by far our
was
best
excellent.
midfielder.
Yeah,
Well,
he
him and
was.
Decore were excellent there,
Yeah.
really. But then we I felt like we sorted things out, calmed it down a little bit, and then we started putting the pressure on. But we still, at times, made the wrong decision. We had that move very early, mate, where we worked it wide to McNeil, and he thought that Chris Wood played for us or something, or he was still at Burnley. Smashed it like right out dead high, and those moments where we've got to take a little bit more care with the ball, haven't we?
Yeah, I think obviously that attacking third hasn't been resolved in the transfer window, which we know the quality's just not there, is it? You know,
Or even just the height at the weekend wasn't there.
well, yeah, I must admit, you know, where we were saying about Maupay starting, I did find that strange, just in terms of if you've chucked Sims in away at Anfield,
The hard one.
It's,
Yeah, the difficult one,
it seemed like let's get him in to get him in for this game. That's what it felt like to me. So sort of didn't really quite understand that, but yeah, look, the quality in the final third and the decision making, like you say, it's not the best. We haven't got great attacking players. You know, they haven't got the best thought process. They haven't got the best skill and ability. But obviously, you need to try and get them to start working to a plan, don't you? Which you can see slowly. That's starting to happen. But like I say, you've got McNeil now in the side. You know, his ability levels, you know, mediocre. His work rate's fantastic. You can see why he's in the side. His delivery, more often than not, is quite good. He does put it in a good area. Just put one in later on, didn't he? That just fizzed past everyone.
Right across, there was a great ball, that, yeah.
So, and obviously, Iwobi's gone from playing in a midfield position, which he'd been doing for the last six months or so, back out wide. So there's all these little things, and they're not going to happen overnight, because it's been a couple of weeks since the manager's come in, so those things will happen. But look, the final third is going to continue to frustrate us all season. It will not change, because the players simply aren't good enough that are in those positions. So it's about making the most of it. And I think, again, the Arsenal game, this game, the midfield three looks solid enough. I mean, for what we're trying to achieve and just staying up, and more than good enough in that. Albeit their Anfield performance was night and day. And then obviously from a defensive performance, again, they look relatively solid. They look compact. Strange again. Just the Anfield game was just an outlier. I'm already from hoping it is, because it was so
far different from the two either side
so
of it.
frantic and.
Yeah.
But doesn't the Anfield performance kind of show you the problems though with this set of players? Is that at home, you know, even under Frank Lampard, okay, the last couple at home under him were terrible, but in general at home the performances were always better than they were away. Sean Dyche has had 2 home games and 1 away game. The 2 home games have been hard work, good organisation, deservedly won both games, should have won both games by more goals.
Certainly.
And yet talking about an away performance, or albeit against a good side, but a team that wasn't in good form, and we haven't turned up. We've put a performance like we've done in so many away games, which is insipid. It's poor cohesion, no structure to it. Isn't that just basically what this team is?
Simmering under the surface is a big lack of confidence, which doesn't help. And I think we're always one incident away from thinking, oh, here we go again, sort of thing. And that's not us, that's them thinking that, you know. So and that's where the fans help, I guess, at home, but the fans help away as well. Yeah. So, but yeah, and I think one of the things the manager seems to have decided, and it's only a small sample, isn't it? But fundamentally, he thinks he knows what his first 10 are, and then there's a bit of musical chairs on the 11th player who plays up front, which might just narrow down to Mopé and Sims until DCL's ready, and probably more Sims than Mopé after the weekend, I would imagine. But they're certainly going to be the first change type, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just like we the fans got a bit carried away earlier on in the season, talking about how solid the defence is and what have you. I'm not convinced it is as solid as it might look when we're playing, anemic opposition. But anything that's got pace and mobility and is prepared to stretch us a bit.
Arsenal had all that and they didn't get the ball.
Yeah, Arsenal like to keep the ball though, don't they?
Yeah, but they've got pace on both wings. And
but we sat off.
And Leeds do have a lot of pace.
I know they do,
and goals,
but we never got stretched at all by those two teams. Maybe that's what the point you're trying to make, really, is we allowed, and we sat here, I think, when we talked about it and said, let's play their team, not their name. And I think at Anfield we almost, maybe it's just lazy by me to say, we looked like we were playing the name again. No,
we always do.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And then you've got a huge change. Yeah, you've got a huge change in players and managers and all sorts of things, and you've still got that. We're going there, and nothing changes, and that was when you start getting into culture and what goes on in and around. The training camp, and the club will call it, in the build-up to a derby. Maybe it's just something gets into the air and they breathe it in. But I don't know why they never turned up, really.
I thought tactically it was a bit strange at Anfield, just in much as, don't know whether when you were there and it seemed like, but we seemed like we were trying to be a lot more possession-based than we have been at home. They were trying to pass it around, and obviously they're just not great in it.
I think the problem they'll have is that obviously trying to keep the ball means there's less damage to you, and obviously they were probably a bit nervous with that. But if you haven't got the front three to cause problems, then that's doesn't work anyway, because at some stage it's going to break down. I think on Saturday, as the game went on in that first half, we saw some nice patterns of play. We had the one where you mentioned before, Dwight McNeil put a tremendous ball across the 6-yard box, and I don't understand why Neil Maupay's not in there for a tap.
And a Wobie on the back post.
There, but Maupay was sort of stood between the penalty
box. No anticipation.
Penalty spot in the 6-yard box, as if
on his heels.
Yeah, but he should be in there, because that's where the ball's going. Then Michalenko did the same a couple of minutes later. The same ball, and his fist right across.
But what I don't get with the Maupay one is that he's been brought in for exactly that as well, hasn't he? Because people have been like, well, he's not a one up front, he can't hold up, he hasn't got paid, but he's a good in and around the box. Well, he doesn't get in and around the box.
Well, that's why I think Brighton moved him on.
Yeah, he's not a goal scorer, is he?
Doesn't get the goal.
But I like Dice in his press conference afterwards, was one with Everton, was saying about following in the other winger, following in on the far post, because you noticed that with a Wobie on that. Again, for as much as Maupay should be there, a Wobie, it's an absolute tapping for him. He's completely unmarked. If he would just come in, but he's just stood there watching.
Well, you saw that sadly with Gakpo at Anfield, didn't you? He was just running into the back stick and he's a yard out, no goalie, and a Wobie would have had the same thing. But we did see a couple of nice ones. I mean, we had one where Onana broke through and hit it with his left foot, and maybe he should have steadied himself as a poor one. But then we had one where Garner done tremendously well, Meg the lad, and
and
cut it back brilliantly.
Blazed it,
He's
got it with the target.
Hit the target. But them three with the core looked the best way to a goal for us, I thought, certainly in the first half.
I'm breaking the line
the
stuff,
midfield three.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Didn't he? And
but they're rushing things, aren't they? And then perversely they all get contagion, which says you pass short.
Yeah.
And so lots of the mistakes were passing short, weren't they? So they have a think about that at half time, and then they overhit, overcompensating and stuff. And you think, guys, just steady, stay steady.
But Leeds, I mean, Leeds done nothing.
They were awful.
In the first half especially, there was nothing from them. They had a header from Somerville, I think, that went about 40 foot over the bar.
They're not materially different than Wolves or Southampton were, and they beat us. So maybe that's a sign of improvement. A team didn't beat us.
It is, because, again, if you're talking about the Arsenal game and this game in terms of limiting both those teams to chant that isn't just, they were both those teams were rubbish. There is an element of what you've done.
It's got to be, absolutely.
Is tactically put them in positions.
Oh, some people it'll just be they were rubbish.
Oh, of course.
And I'm about our fans. Some of our fans love to talk everyone else up and everything down.
Yeah, but tactically, as you know, well, obviously any manager, they'll be putting them into certain areas and working on their weaknesses, and it's obviously worked well because they didn't really have a goal-scoring chance. I don't think Pickford made an actual save.
No, they didn't have a shot on target. I don't think did they?
That sums it up.
You know.
Come out for the second half, and I think we had a couple of flurries. Dwight McNeil flashed one wide. Morpay should have really probably followed that in. But there was obviously, we were getting space down the wide areas where Michalenko's a nice little link up with McNeil.
Michalenko actually
got forward a lot more,
He's got, at home, there's no excuse, he's got to.
He
can't sit on the edge of our box at home, he just can't.
No, we need him up there, don't we?
He's got to go up, even if he's a decoy for McNeil. Because what he's done differently than what he was doing under Lampard is he's staying wide, and he's just shifting it a yard, which is what we were asking him to do, because he ain't got the pace to knock it past people and run away from them. He done a little one where he got a corner, a little dribble, but
doesn't look quite as slow when he's carrying it.
No, that's it. When he's running after, he lollops, doesn't he? It's like, he does. But he's running with the ball, he's okay. But he a couple of times just got it out of his foot and put great deliveries in. And again, that's the frustration, is that we don't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin fit and firing in the middle. But it is what it is. But again, the midfield three got hold of it, and that was the key again to this one, is that Everton was so strong in the midfield that people like Weston and Kenny couldn't get into the game. We just looked poor. Adams, who I quite liked, Tyler Adams.
Same.
No, I mean, the only thing he really did was cause a kick-off in the first half, didn't he?
Yeah.
He didn't really do anything for them, and they'll be disappointed.
They were frustrated.
Jack Harrison, who can be a threat at times, done nothing.
His dead ball deliveries were absolutely horrific.
He had a shocker. He might need to get his top knocked back. He had an absolute shocker. But the midfield three, I mean, I wanted to have a little look at Decore, his numbers, because I thought he had a really good game. Passing accuracy 88%, 9 ball recoveries, 100% of the tackles he won 4 out of 4, created 2 chances and had 2 interceptions as well. And he's one who he did miss a sitter. We'll get on to that. But he's one who has taken his opportunity since Frank Lampard went. We know he had the bust up with Frank Lampard just before the manager left. But he's got in, obviously he's trained really well. Sean Dyche just thought, get him in midfield because he can get around a pitch. Is he careless with the ball? Yeah,
of course he is. Definitely,
But he is also, like the ball recovery, he's a threat as well, running with the ball. And he seems to have taken his chance, doesn't he?
Played less minutes than Dominic, hasn't he?
He had, yeah. Well, he started the games in August, went off at Villa, and then
that was it,
the Arsenal game's the next start.
That's right,
in the Premier League. But he's got
an optimistic Evertonian. He actually feels slightly like a new signing because you'd sort of just discarded him.
You're just desperate for new signings, that's all.
That's probably what it is. That's why contract Dave's gone, hasn't it? But you've got, he sort of just felt like he'd been part. He was out the way. He'd gone. And
if the manager hadn't changed, he was.
Yeah, and then you've come back in and you actually look at what his assets are and what he can contribute to a team if he's obviously putting in the work.
He was always coming back. Frank was just making him play for a contract, you see. So put him on the naughty step. Yeah, put him on the naughty step and bring him back all refreshed and eager.
Ready to go. And he's come back in and he compliments those three. I think they work really well.
They're working well.
I love the way they same as in the Arsenal game, the Onana, the Corey interchanging, so they can almost maintain their energy levels, because one will just sit for a little bit for 5 minutes while the other one goes lunatic chasing, and then they swap, and it sort of works well. Albeit again, you just don't want to get too carried away with anything and start bigging it up. But I think as a three, it's working.
I was just waving to Ped to ask Ned something, and for some reason he put the camera on me as well.
While you were waving.
So really, really good camera work there, boys. No, it is, and I think the thing...
Who's on buttons?
I think the advantage...
No, Jack.
I don't know. One of them's had a nightmare there. I think the thing what the Decore does bring, probably a bit more naturally than the other two, is that breaking into the penalty. Oh, Nana's trying to do it, there's no question about it. But I think the Decore...
More natural,
surely
I think,
at Watford he was half a dozen goals a season from doing that, and Everton, since he come to Everton, he's never really had that role. Carlo brought him in and he had to basically fill the gap for Hammers. That was his first bit. And then obviously Benitez had him in a 2. And then, Lampard kind of ended up... No, not at all. He didn't really play last year. He was in and out, and then he got injured, and then for whatever reason he's felt a little bit frustrated that he wasn't getting in. But it is those three, and I think what Dyche has been able to do, or what he has done, is identify them three and say, right, well, let's not leave ourselves too exposed if one of you breaks. Try to keep a double pivot almost. Yeah. At times, yes, we do have both of them running on. Or Garner will go and one will sit in. And that it is that responsibility. And that, I think, can only get better as we move forward.
I agree. Yeah, you're right.
And that's a big, that is a key change.
It's a big plus. It's a big plus.
Yeah. Because like you just said, Mike, the Corey does have a goal in him, which there's not many in this team do have it. So to have him back now and getting in the side when he wasn't there does almost feel a little bit like a new signing. We are massively overplaying this, but you know what I mean.
No, but it's when you've mentally discarded the player, haven't you? And you've gone, he's not even in the equation to suddenly go and, well, you know, his attributes are good attributes to have, aren't he? So, but what I noticed as well on Saturday, just a couple of times when we were talking about Michaelenko getting forward, so where he wasn't getting us forward a couple of times was when you said there about Onana and the when they both broke. Michaelenko was sort of sat alongside Garner, so he stayed narrow and kept that too. So I don't know whether that was a tactical, whether he just done it naturally, but
seems so.
Yeah, and then McNeil was keeping the width out wide. So
well, it will be tactical because they weren't doing it before, and
it has to be.
So there's all these different little things, and they just look like real minute things, but they all add up to being able to minimise teams.
Well, we just spoke there about Garner and Onana, and Garner I thought had another very, very good game. In fact, Seamus Coleman for me
stopped him,
just pipped him for the man of the match goal. But let's have a look at Garner's numbers as well from the weekend. 66 touches, completed 75% of his dribbles, 3 tackles, won 11 of his 16 duels. Had 2 interceptions as well, and was just everywhere. And I know sometimes he is sloppy with his passing, I know that, but that shouldn't prejudice people for what he does. People, I don't think, realise just how much he just nicks the ball off people, or he blocks things off.
It's a pickpocket.
He reads it so well, doesn't he?
He's just, without him, there'd be a huge, well, there has been a huge hole in the midfield for 3 years when we didn't have him, and he's come back in. Is he perfect? Nobody wasn't perfect before he went. People used to get frustrated with him for doing the same things before he went. And then he went, and then we had 3 years bemoaning the fact we didn't have him. And now he's back. So you think you've got to just accept that that's what comes with it.
Yeah. The thing you'd like to get out of his game is that blind pass back. That he plays backwards.
Yeah.
He doesn't really tend to give the ball away when he's passing it forward.
No.
He gives it away passing it back, which is strange. But no, look, he's been, you know, pivotal in, like you say, in that role. I think obviously the way the season's gone and the way that Frank Lampard had changed that midfield setup. You know, when we had the double pivot, which we had for one game, and it looked really good. And as soon as he moved away from that was never going to work for Garner, certainly at his age. Again, it just feels like with a coach who's being a little bit more, just going to basics and going, how do we fit the jigsaw pieces together the best we can? It's never going to be perfect by it because they're not a great bunch of players.
No.
But what's the best way of putting them together? And it's all, again, just all them little marginal gains. I thought the Arsenal game and I thought this game, thought Garner was absolutely exceptional in both of them. And then the caveat to that, away at Anfield, thought he was abysmal. But hopefully he can, you know, get the away performances together.
That's what happens to the performance of the whole team when he's abysmal, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he drops, you know. But I think that, I mean, John, that if you're looking for a bright area, that them 3 in midfield just right now seem to be
they're working as a unit.
Our best area, don't they, right now?
They do. They're working as a unit, and if Doucouré can carry the ball, that might alleviate some of the challenges around. We don't have anyone up top. Because he's not the fastest, is he? But he's got some presence.
A stride on him, hasn't he?
Yeah, and you just try and get players around then. But we've still got a number of spectators, haven't we, in our team? You know.
Well, as in terms of getting on the end of things, we do stay on our heels. We don't. I don't know whether that's bravery.
Too often we're on our heels, I think, still. But if you spend moments watching the manager,
well, if you're
very animated,
if you're watching, if you're looking at the way we play and we haven't got, and again, it sounds like I'm having a go at Malpine, I probably am. But if your forward isn't occupying their defenders, as in they're worried about you, they're gonna creep up the pitch.
Of course they are.
When what Dom did really well against Arsenal was he occupied them, kept them deep. When they come in, he'd get it on his chest, he'd take it, he'd spin them. We haven't got that. Richarlison's great at doing it for them. We've seen other great strikers we've had. Lukaku, fabulous at spinning people and making them worried about him going the other way. We haven't got that with Maupay, and he hasn't got the strength and the presence to pin people back and give them a rough afternoon. He can be a little pain in the arse at times, as we saw against Arsenal. But so what that means then is that you do have to break the lines and you have to make a run. And we're just going to look. We've got the stills here for the Coleman goal, which we will for the winning goal. And we've got it here. Now this actually was played in, and to be fair to Maupay, he's the one who takes the first touch and controls it on the halfway line, lays it back to Garner. It comes to Iwobi, and Coleman is just set off. So Iwobi, just below me here actually, where is your thinking? Knocks it forward. We go 1-1. It's gone down into the. I mean, we've defo missed one out here, but it's fine. That's the ball. Coleman's made the run. We've got the arrow pointing to the only place possible that he can do it. Because if you look, where's the next Everton player? Where's our centre forward?
So why didn't he just stop it, double back and pass it backwards like we normally do?
Well, that's the thing, John, and I'm sure he will be told off by previous managers. He will be fined a week's wages for not putting his foot in.
I know it went in.
I'm passing it to Pickford.
But it was only a 1% chance.
Jordan Pickford was on there, Seamus, if you did look. No, but look, I mean, you're looking there. That is Maupay on the edge of the box, I think. Well, not even on the edge of the box, still 10 yards outside the box. And yet, Coleman's ran from almost parallel. That's the only place he can really hit it. We just take it on again. I think we've got he's just pulling the trigger now because obviously he's running out of room. The next one, this is the angle, it's the best angle. If you look there, there's literally
that's brilliant,
nobody.
There's
nobody is anywhere near him, and that's the only real thing he can do. And you can talk about meaning it. And at first I was thinking, has he just done that thing there where you're just throwing it into the middle and you've sliced it in? But when you see it from that angle, and anyone will know you play football. I've done that, as in running out. Anyone will do running out of space. There's nothing on. Just hit it at the goal, and sometimes you keep it or push it wide. You get a corner. Everyone, you've done all you could. He's had a little glance, no one there, and he's hit it into the danger area. And the goalie's done. He's almost done a pick for the Anfield, hasn't he? He's gone. Oh well, I'll anticipate the cross here.
Yeah, and it never happened.
And Seamus has whacked it in. Is that the last one? I think there's one more where it's in the net, and you can see Seamus is wheeling away, and the ball's in the middle of the goal, and he's come up with something huge when he needed it, and for him, you know, who is coming towards the end, and he's the first one to say it. And I read something today where he'd gone and checked on Nathan Patterson last week to see how close he is, because he's feeling like Patterson needs to be back, because can I do this up and down 90 minutes? Because that's what he is, Seamus Coleman. It's not, you can have that selfish thing of like, oh, I want to stay in the team, but I think he's looking and going, the team also needs this option of this young lad that can run up and down for 90 minutes, and I'll do as and when. You know, if you think back to the Etihad after Christmas on New Year's Eve, he came on Coleman with 25 minutes to go and just shut the game down. It's that experience. Can he do that every week? We've got 3 games in a week coming up. He realises,
I can't do it.
For me to do this regularly, you know. But on Saturday, he definitely did, you know, turn the clock back. People were going, oh, him against Gnotto, it's going to be a nightmare. And Jack Harrison, I think the pair of them are still in his friggin' arse pocket from, you know, they got washed with his slips on Saturday night because he was outstanding. Let's have a look at his numbers as well from the weekend. There we go. 1 shot, 1 goal, 3 tackles, won 6 out of 11 duels. Had his crosses, 1. There was also lots of other positive stats about him that haven't appeared on there. Surprisingly, because I didn't put them down. But he's done well, and Johnny's come up as the match winner, the captain.
He enjoyed it, didn't he?
60 grand.
He enjoyed it, yeah. When did you know the ball was in the net? Because you're in the upper Bullens.
When it hit the net.
Yeah, exactly.
You had the perfect view, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, the thing what you're asking is, was a surprise? Yeah, because when he hit it, it looked like it gone behind the net.
Oh, right.
And then everyone's jumped up.
Yeah.
So
you're
you're
like,
what
end, you see him going, you're bitching, well, in my case, screaming at Mopay to get in the box, sort of thing. And then you know he's hit it, and then you see the ripple.
Yeah.
So that's the first time I knew from seeing it.
I was seeing Coleman when he was
wheeling away.
It was in the Upper Gladys on the corner park.
Okay, so you're up.
And you see him wheeling away, because when he sort of hit it,
You think?
I'm looking more at who's in the box.
That's what I
than
think
the
we were
net.
all doing.
So I
yeah.
sort of turned, easy hit it, and I'm looking, going, who's in there to follow this in? And then it's in the back of that. Like, wow.
Everyone's jumping, grabbing you, and hugging and screaming, and did he mean it? Did he, you know? And
the way it's the ball, you can tell.
Alexander Arnold have a whole programme dedicated to the angle of the Athletic. They wrote 7 pieces on it today. The velocity of the slight and all of that. But it was, listen, it was absolutely brilliant, and I think it needed something like that, didn't it? Because we weren't creating.
That's the problem, isn't it,
chances.
with the team still, is that it's needing either a set play or something out the blue, or the Mardi Gras.
Only from a finishing point
but
of
if
view,
we look,
we're creating.
I suppose if you do break it down, though, in the first half, we've had 2 off the line in 10 seconds, 5 seconds, haven't we?
Yeah.
Cody and then Maupay. Like we talked about before, we've had the Onana thing. Tarkovsky's had a header which the keeper's made a good save off a set piece. That's all in the first half. Everton could have quite easily been 3 or 4-0 up at half time.
All the creating chances, just no one to take him, so it's always needing something a little bit.
But have you been impressed with, say, the set pieces? Because all of a sudden,
massively,
with a real threat,
and
off
also
the
defensively. I don't feel like we're going to concede from them, which is mad. I know, touch wood. Sorry, sorry, everyone.
I think the thing about the corner set pieces, because we did 2 within a few minutes, which were almost identical, and both of them caused grief. One was the off the line one, and the other one was the goalie save. But that's the one that scored against Arsenal. So the sign there is,
and the one that hit the post against Liverpool.
Yeah, absolutely. So the opposition can be told what we're going to do. Doesn't mean they can stop it. And I think you're talking about the trio in midfield being a unit, but they all know their role as well in the set piece, don't they? Because you've got Decore's in there, Anana's in there, and it's Tarkovsky who's in there, and they're the 3.
As well,
but they're all at the back end and saying, "Go on then, can you get in the way?" And we're using the 2 bigger guys as the blockers.
Well, I mean, Burnley, particularly 2 games I can think of against Everton, scored. In fact, he scored that last year when he beat us 3-2.
Yeah.
That was the first goal, was the back post corner, and the lads headed it back across. Remember when we beat them 5-1?
Yeah.
They I think, was it Tarkovsky? But they scored the same one, back post, head the back goal. If you get it right, it's very difficult because you're underneath it. They've got the run on you, you're underneath it. Well. The keeper's taken out, what can the keeper do?
It's gone over the keeper, so the keeper's...
And we had, if you remember, just after we score, we get another corner and Tarkovsky runs near post but gets too much on it and heads it up. Where if he manages to skim it, it's in again because he's won the first contact. And I think that for the manager, Ian Wone, Steve Stone, whoever it is, who've done that work with them very quickly, for them to all of a sudden, it's in people's heads now.
To get returns.
Klopp, I didn't see anything with the thing, but I'd seen Klopp saying, like, the corners are insane. How you have to, it's so difficult to defend against them. Thinking, this same Everton team that I've been watching all fucking season.
And we're still floating them in for big keepers.
But all of a sudden, we're putting them in. I mean, on top of that, we also scored, that was the first goal we scored from open play since Crystal Palace at home, by the way, at Goodison.
Is it?
Every other goal we scored has been off a set piece. So I'm saying how impressed are we with Sean Dyche, but we have to remember Frank Lampard got a goal against Wolves off a set piece and a goal against Southampton off a set piece. So it is in there. David the Mardi Gray, obviously, but Dwight McNeil seems to have found a little bit of a mojo there with the in-swing and ones to the back post, doesn't he?
I think it's just we're winning more corners as well, or certainly it
feels
like
part
we are
of
anyway.
And so they feel like they're under a bit more pressure, don't they?
Yeah.
They do build pressure corners, especially if the delivery is consistently good. We know what it's like against us. Like when you're thinking, oh, geez, another one, and that delivery's coming in.
And I think like with Villa coming up on Saturday, there's obviously a very tricky game because they've got good players in the final third. Elsewhere, they're questionable, but the final third. But when we do get a corner, as long as we're not behind, we should take our time with it. Because I always think when you're defending a corner and taking the time with it, the pressure's building.
Totally agree.
You've got to switch on. Don't rush it. If you're behind, you're running. You're trying to do it quickly. But
same with last third free kicks.
That's it. Just take
think
your time.
about it.
Make them think we're under pressure. We're under pressure. We're let the crowd build. It's all of these little tiny things that people might go, oh, what difference does it make? It does. It makes a big difference. Seen it with us. When we're hanging on or someone gets a corner and you're thinking, oh my,
take it.
Well, that's where Jack Harrison's poor delivery was going to make. Because I was panicking. Like we give away like 3 silly fouls.
Silly ones
within 5 minutes, and he ballooned all 3 of them out. And I was like, oh, thank God for that, because they were like you know, they were in good positions. And
he got a corner and struck him off before he could take it, didn't he?
Well, he was set to take it.
He was set to
wasn't
take it, and he let Sam Greenwood take it, didn't he? But obviously after the goal, you know, we did the only like negative thing I would say really is we retreated a little bit after the goal, which I didn't think we should have done. I think they were poor and they were there for the taking. They didn't do anything, luckily enough. They caused us no dangers, no issue whatsoever, and we were able to go through the motions a little bit and just keep it when we had it. But and again, listen, maybe it's just we just simply haven't got the players to do it. But we were so on top at 0-0, like so far on top at 0-0.
Yeah.
When it went 1-0, we give them a little foot back in the game when he started knocking it round, and that's why they did get those quick free kicks, because we kept giving the ball away then instead, and you were thinking, what's going? Dead calm at 0-0, and these weren't even in it.
Yeah.
They were like trying to, you know, it was only a matter of time. I felt we were going to score.
Yeah.
Saying that, we still had two great opportunities.
I was sort of waiting to pipe in
to kill the game off. We brought Ellis Sims on.
Yeah, we did.
You know, we brought Ellis Sims on, and obviously we have the Decore one where Sims.
I think Sims did all right when he
was a great. He did do all right. He did. He put himself
about. That pass into Decore was.
The pass into Decore is brilliant. But
deserved an assist, didn't it?
Why doesn't Decore just hit it with his left foot?
Don't know. Absolutely no idea. Good touch on your left foot, hit it. Just hit it. Strange. I mean, obviously he'll know if he had another go at it, I'm sure he will. Just hit it, but. Yeah, it was a gilt-edged chance.
It just breaks into, and you see it's perfect. Ellis just play it, he plays it.
Seemed an eternity waiting for him to pull the trigger.
It was.
And you go, he'll just sweep this in with his
He couldn't even get the touch out of his feet properly though, because he slowed down.
He slipped a bit.
Well, that was what happened. As he slowed down, he slipped and just hit it onto the other leg.
But yeah, look, he just needed to hit that left foot across the keeper. If the keeper tips it, corner. If not, it's in the bottom corner. Job done. But look, I think it was good in terms of creating them chances. So once they, because like you say, other than them couple of free kicks and he didn't take advantage of them, like from open play, they just did not. Like we could be there now, they're still not scoring, and that's down not only to their poor quality, but down to what we did well. But it created us opportunities then from breaking perspective, and I thought, like you said, I thought Ellis Sims was great when he come on. Thought the last sort of 10-15, and I don't know about you guys, but I really felt like we didn't know whether to stick or bust. Like we got in really good positions. I could see the players there going to take this to the corner. They were go. I don't know. You know, like I could tell. Yeah. And obviously, with having been hit on the counter a couple of times at Liverpool, I think maybe they were a little bit wary of that. But
it does you no harm being able to close a game out, by the way.
No,
because we've not been good at it. So the minute you start going, and then team starts, don't concede many of them. That gets into opposition's head. We know when we go away,
we don't concede many in the last 15.
That's it. There's none of this, and these are tough to play against.
You come for you make reasons out of it. They don't get tired, so that they might be fitter than us, and all that.
Exactly, is all of that.
Give a corner away.
That's the one.
We had the other
don't
one,
give free kicks away on corners against this lot.
You're in trouble. And we had the other moment where Dwight McNeil had it, and there's a big gap in the middle for Ellis Sims, and if he just picks his head up, he's got a simple pass for 2-0.
And the one thing Ellis can do is finish.
Exactly, that's the one thing, and you're wanting it to break through so that he finds himself in front of the goalie with it, you know. A chance to just tuck it in, but you know, I think if you're Sean Dyche coming away from that, or the players as well, you're sitting there going, we didn't have any real issues today with this. That's 2 home games now where we've had very little. The goalkeepers had nothing to do. You know, the keeper has seen this thing saying, it was a quiet day for me. That's what we want, don't we? We want our goalie to have a quiet day, and you know, for us, that's a real. Especially, I think you said it right before, Mike. We haven't beaten anyone around us
for a while.
Is it all season?
Oh yeah.
Southampton maybe back in whenever it was. Other than that, you know, Palace were top 10, I think, when we beat them. So we haven't beaten anybody around us this season, and that was a huge one, because obviously if Leeds would have won, the distance would have been there, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We managed to pull them into the relegation zone, climb out of it, and
that's what the weekend's about as well. We beat Villa. They
4
get dragged down to us, don't they?
4 points, and
they've got all week to think about what you said before, which is, it can't be both those teams turned up good and played badly. You know, you could say, well, Leeds didn't, but Arsenal were, flying at the time. So they'll be thinking about probably our midfield 3 and thinking, what can we do about that? What can we do to get our front players on it? You know, and so on. So I reserve judgment about the defence till then.
Yeah.
No, but I think the thing with your defence is there is
Still
this.
needs more energy, I think.
Yeah, I think look, there's room for improvement in loads of different areas of the team, isn't there? We know that, but in terms of, you know, if you give, again, just from the manager's perspective, if you're giving Michaelenko as your left back, it's not your choice, it's not what you want, it's not going to be anyone's ideal Premier League left back. But if you've got him and in the mould you've got him, utilise what he's good at, and he 1v1 defending predominantly, again, Anfield horrendous, but predominantly he's relatively solid.
He is solid, you're right. Yeah.
His positional play from a defensive perspective, relatively solid. So he's not asking him to do things he can't do. You know, we might want a left back who's bombing down. But if he can't do it, I'd rather him just sit in and not give up chances.
Yeah, but I think the thing with Michaelenko is
He's got it in
he
him.
can pick holes in it. Of course he can, because he isn't Luka Dean. He's not.
That's right, yeah.
He's not going to play 1-2s and get down the back. He's not going to curl 3 kicks in from 25 yards. He's not whipping delicious crosses in. But what you can say to him is, when you get in that area, mate, just put your foot through it. Your left foot would bend it in. He's a professional footballer. Yeah. He's comfortable on the ball.
And he's done that more, hasn't he?
And he started to do it. He had a shot on Saturday, played it in, got it back, took a touch. All right, it went down the throat of Melly.
He shows what he's capable of.
If he hits a cross him next time and the keeper gets to answer it, we've got to tap
goal away.
The Leicester goal away. You know, we had the Palace goal this season. His shot, the keeper touches it, and Anthony Gordon's got to tap in a yard out. It's what you need him to do. You like you just said, utilise him then. If you've got Seamus Coleman at 34, isn't ideal for you to be bombing up and down. Brilliant Saturday, my man of the match, but it's not ideal. Ideal world, it's Nathan Patterson, who's 20, 21, energy, big. Yeah. We were all like that when he got injured early on in the season, weren't we? Now, okay, he's come back and, all right, he's picked another injury up and he hasn't been quite firing, but he is a good player and he's someone who's learning the game. We need him back. James Garner, we've not seen anything of. James Garner, you're talking about new signings. James Garner literally is a new signing. We've hardly seen him.
Big good option off the bench.
And he's a decent option. You need that. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. People throwing things at the screen now because I've said that.
This is what I was going to say, by the way.
He's another one.
Is that... When was the last time we got some points without Dom playing? It's probably something like that.
Threw that haven't you? Threw it on me here, haven't you?
Away?
No, he played at City, didn't he?
Been a while. So, like, again, it's just another box ticked. We can win without Dom. Bosh.
Because Palace, you go at the Palace.
He
was at Fulham when we were at Palace.
Yeah.
You have probably got to start going back and going, was it West Ham at home, it'll be when we won. Yeah. It'll be Southampton away. Didn't play in either of them, we won both of them. So, but it's been a while. But the thing with him is, it's okay writing him off, going he's broken, seeing people he's finished. Players can have a bad 2 years and come back and be fine. If Everton get to the bottom of what's wrong with him, if it's a, remember me and Ped have done this loads of times, right? Ryan Giggs got sold, just kept getting hamstring injury. Alex Ferguson made him change his car. Get rid of your car, mate, because the medical people went low carb, you know, and all that. Could be a mattress thing, it could be a dietary thing, it could be a mental thing where you
certainly the last one.
You're worried about something. I can't quite do that, so you start running in a slightly different way, which puts a strain somewhere else. You leave no stone unturned. It might be the fact he's got too. I can't think Ped said that he might just have his body's tuned that finely when it doesn't need to. He looks like a blooming. Hasn't got an ounce of fat on him, doesn't he? Oh, he is, isn't he? He's got muscles where, you know, on top of muscle. It might be relax what you're doing a little bit, and he starts to find a happy medium. I'm massively clutching, I accept that. But if we can get him fit for most of the time, I'm not talking peak Dominic Calvert-Lewin, but I'm talking fit enough to keep him involved most weeks.
Yeah, even if he's on the bench.
Off the bench, or he can do an hour and then we replace it, then it's another body in the squad. Yeah. And he is quality and he will get them tap-ins. He nearly had the one at Arsenal rolled over his foot, didn't he? Yeah. You know, when Onana done brilliantly. So getting those players back will be key for us, because them three back in an Everton squad that has had a couple of wins and got a couple of clean sheets, it gives other people
certainly
something to
boosts
worry
the bench, doesn't it? Because you look at the bench, don't you, and there's not a lot there.
Certainly not in forward options. But if you've got Dom and you've got Ellis Sims as he should,
and even James Garner who can smash
Garner, whatever set pieces or whatever. Then that you start thinking, you know what, all right, the bench has got some options now, because there's 5 subs. So the options have got to be there. Other teams are using them. Again, we've used one. It was Tom Davis. 2, wasn't it? We used 2 at the weekend. They used 4.
Yeah, Davis and Sims.
Against Arsenal, we used 1. So, you know, if the manager looks and goes, actually, we've got him and him.
Yeah.
They can come on and give us some legs in
that
the last
helps
50.
everybody.
Helps everything.
Yeah.
Saves players who maybe we got Damari Gray off the bench. He's a threat. Can he get his head down and work hard in training? That's the only way he's going to get in this side, isn't it?
It is.
You know, and he's
Or do stuff when he comes on.
Well, he still had,
neither of which he did.
the sad thing is, he's still our top scorer. He's got 3 goals.
Yeah, 5 in total, isn't it?
And we're in
Ned said that before.
February.
It's mad when you say it out loud, though, isn't it?
We're in February. And he's got 3 goals and it's Everton's top scorer. It's embarrassing.
That's unbelievable.
It's terrifying.
You say it out loud.
And so, therefore, someone's got to make an impact, haven't he? It's great having Tarkowski win it. It's great having the Seamus Coleman win it. But
Defence are doing their bit.
Somewhere along the line, these forward players...
We cried out for goals coming from other aspects of the pitch. And
midfield players have to do more as well.
We know that the attacking option, other than DCL, isn't going to get the goals realistically, are they? Mopai's...
He's got 1 goal, and it's February.
And he's got 1 goal in about 30 games as well, dating back to his Brighton time as well. So it's not even... It's almost a season.
Goal scorer.
So he's not far off 1 goal in a season. So he's not going to be getting them. So the team are going to have to get him in and around him in different areas. You obviously want to start seeing Onana's got all the ability. He should be arriving in there and finishing off some goals. You know, obviously he's a young lad, but again, I feel confident that'll start to creep up as the weeks go on, and he'll start getting into better positions, and some of them will just fall for him. And he looks like the type that wants to get to few. I mean, he got one the other week, didn't he? A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I think once he starts getting a few, he'll, you know, be a presence there. But look, the attacking third is just going to continue to be a frustration. We've got to, not like you don't want to accept it, but we're going to have to accept it. There will be frustration. Yeah. So it's like, till the end of the season, how can you score goals?
We need
chipping in and
Ellis to chip in, don't we? We do. We need. He is. If he's got anything, Ellis Sims, he's a poacher in the penalty area.
I just play him.
And he can finish.
Would you just go through it now? Just go.
Look, again, and I don't want to just go and he's like, because I understand, or I don't necessarily understand obviously what Dice has asked of Mopai. I don't know. So before the game, I don't know what he's asked him to do. But for me watching it, it didn't look like he was doing anything really that was impacting in a positive way to the game. So from that perspective, I would rather have Sims getting a bit of time, and building up.
Might grab a tap in somewhere. Yeah.
And he's not going to necessarily be a long-term answer or solution. But if you can create something where he's, when Dom is fully fit, or in next season you've got new players and he's someone off the bench or whatnot, Mopai, realistically, he's not going to be the answer at any stage, is he? If he's the answer, I don't know what the question is. So I'd rather just see him, and like I said, I did find it very strange to throw him in away at Anfield. Just literally, like it was back old Everton, there was a 40-yard gap between him and anyone else. He was, don't get me wrong, I don't think he played particularly well, but he was up against that. He had nothing, no support, nothing for him. And obviously, he come on, it was a little cameo, we don't want to go overboard. You know, come on for, what, 10, 15 minutes or so. So don't want to go overboard, but he looked like he's got a little bit of something, whereas Mopai doesn't look like he's got anything.
The thing about it is, right, I've seen Ellis Sims a number of times for the 21s. He's not dynamic. It's not what he is, right? And he's not even someone who you knock it in and they keep it all day for you. He's not even that. But he is a finisher. And he scored a lot of goals at that level. Went on to Blackpool, scored 10 goals in half a season. Went off to Hearts, done decent up there. Gone to Sunderland, done all right there. He knows how to finish. Now, you're learning the game as a striker. You're always learning the game. He's learning about the Premier League. You've thrown him in at Anfield, where, let's be honest, we've seen some Lukaku shocking at Anfield. And Ron was brilliant for Everton, wasn't he? Brilliant for Everton. And yet at Anfield, nearly do anything. We've seen good strikers not touch the ball at Anfield. Dom's not exactly done great at Anfield. His best moments at Anfield was when he come on a sub and won us a penalty when we won the game. So, you know, we've had good strikers up there. Who haven't really done you can't really write Ellis Sims. You know, the lad's had 2 starts for Everton, away at Chelsea and away at Liverpool. You know, and freaking hell, like, really tough games. He'll learn the trade, get him on the pitch. If he's going to be a possibility that he might be an Everton squad player for longer than this season, then give him a go now. Use Maupay. Certainly at Goodison, play Sims. If you're looking away and going, right, we don't want to expose him then, we're going to use a bit of experience for the next few weeks while Dom's not ready. Play Maupay away from Goodison then, because he's got the Premier League experience, have Ellis off the bench. But at home, where he's protected with the crowd, and where the onus is on us a little bit, the next 2 home games, Villa and Brentford, both dangerous sides, but both concede goals.
Yeah.
He might be the one. You know, when Michalenko or McNeil's flashing them across the 6-yard box, he's more likely to be in there going, "I'll have that, thanks."
Yeah.
Than what Neil Maupay is.
You also want to play into the crowd a little bit, don't you? We want to see him, as opposed to Maupay, don't we? As a crowd, I think most people
don't want Maupay.
No, so I think.
But you want a young striker to come and score. Every football fan wants a young lad that's come through that you haven't bought.
22 now, they're winning.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, you want that, don't you? Yeah, but I was looking at just what the Arsenal thing, and I'm not saying Nketiah's a better start, saying he's like them, but he's 23, I think. He's just got into Arsenal, done well. He's had a loan period and all that. So I'm not saying Ellis Sims is at that level, of course. I'm not. But what I'm just saying is sometimes, the ideal is this 17, 18-year-old striker like Ferguson at Brighton, who's great, or we had obviously the best, didn't we, in Wayne Rooney, but they're few and far between. But a young lad, you want that. So the fans are with him. He's got to learn as well. It's up to him to put himself about and training, isn't it? And to say to Sean, you know, when Everton played a game last week before the derby against Stockport, Munson nearly got both of them. Maupay got sent off in the game, to be fair. And then next minute he's in the team against Liverpool. So, you know, he's come on Saturday, he's had a positive impact. The lad should have had an assist. The Corey knocks that one in, we're all going, what a ball by Ellis Sims. First assist, great. So for him now, head down this week in training, let the manage, because when they watch it back, they'll know Maupay didn't really affect it. Yeah. Villa have got Mings and people like big lads at the. Is Maupay really going to win any kind of battle with Konza if he's fit? Mings, is he going to get the better of them? He's not, is he? No. Whereas Ellis is at least physically big, so he might, you know.
He's got a little bit more pace than Maupay.
Well, exactly. So it's up to him. Isn't it? It's up to him at the end of it. We're talking about Damari Gray and we're talking about others. It's up to Ellis Sims to force his way in. If I'm him, I'm sitting there thinking, well, Dom's not ready yet. It's me now. I've got to. And hopefully the lad will. And hopefully we'll have something where it breaks and the keeper's laying on the floor and there's a big goal and he tucks it in the corner and he's up and running. And who knows then? That feeling of I can score goals in the Premier League. Confidence. Hopefully he'll relax a little bit. I'm with.
His value goes
up. And the
up.
value as well. It's all of that.
As soon as he scores a Premier League goal, his value goes up.
You get the Premier League tax, don't you? Yeah. Let's have a look at the stats from the game. Everton 15 attempts at goal, Leeds 8. Everton had 6 on target. Leeds had none. 2 big chances for the Blues, 1 for Leeds. I can't think of that one, I apologise. Possession 50-50. Leeds completed 1 more pass than Everton. Probably back to Melier. There you go, a win, a good win, another clean sheet on Saturday is massively welcome. We'd be delicious. We're out the bottom 3. Big thanks to Spurs and to Manchester United yesterday. Chelsea, you can sod off. So can Brentford, you bad knobheads, and City. You're all divvies. But no, listen, it was. But
they're playing each other, the ones around us this weekend, though, aren't they? So we will get full value for a win.
Be huge for us this week. Listen, it'd be a tough game. Villa are a good, are a good set. They're a threat. Got good players. Front four, Bailey, Buendia, Watkins.
Struggling though.
Coutinho. They are. I mean, they've lost the last 2 home games, 4-2, haven't they? But they've got goals in them. They let goals in. They got goals in them, and that's where something they'll have to give up this weekend. Everton will have to be on it.
Be interesting to see what.
But listen, the manager he's done all he can do at the moment, hasn't he? He's won his 2 home games and.
He's put it back in our hands now, and I know it's a long way to go, don't get me wrong, but being sat in that bottom 3 but feels like forever, doesn't it? So at least we're out of it.
It's up to us. It's listen, it can change again dead quick, but it's up to us. It's going to be a scrap. 15 games to go. I still think if we win 5 games, we're safe. I think 36 for me. I don't think 3 other teams are getting 36 points. So for Everton, that's what the challenge is now, to win those 5 games. 1 in 3. Yeah, isn't it? That's what it is, and go away from home, play the teams around you, don't lose. Even if you don't win, don't lose.
Yeah, pick some points up on the
Get
road.
out. You know,
7
Everton go
games.
to you know, Southampton. I mean, we've got Forest away, we've got Leicester away, we've got Wolves away, got one more as well. One more is down there, but no, not Bournemouth. There's one more down there as well. No, God, yeah, forget about Bournemouth. Jeez, Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
Palace.
Palace.
If Everton were to go there and say draw all 4 of them, it's a big ask, but draw all 4 of them, there's another 4 bonus points. Win one and lose the others. You know, that's what it's going to come to them kind of things, isn't it? So, who knows? Hey, who knows? But big thanks to John and Mike. We're going to carry on for another 5 minutes over on Toffee TV Premier. But if you're not a Premier subscriber, the link's in the description. If you want it, do it now. If you're not, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe. If you're not, and we'll see you later. Thanks for watching.